Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I know that this video is coming after a long time, around 15 days. But meanwhile, I was busy with my office work, so I was busy in some high severity tasks. That is why I couldn't, prepare videos or anything. Apart from that, I have an upcoming front-end machine coding round uh, next week, for which I'm preparing now. So yeah, that is why in this video I'll be solving one React machine coding round question, which is to uh, build a tabs component. Okay, I think we all are aware of what tabs are. So basically this, these are like tabs that here app.js is coming. If I open some other file, this is like another tab, and then I see its content. So something like that. So this is what we have to create. So here I have generated the problem statement using ChatGPT. Also for my interview I have been told that they will use React 17, so that is why I'm using React 17. And other than that, let's see, I'll just try to solve it. I haven't solved it earlier, so I'll just try to solve it right now. Okay, so the problem statement is build a reusable and accessible tabs component in React that allows switching between multiple content panels. So requirements are basically we will have a row of tab labels. Then when we click on it, we will see the associated content. And at any particular time, I should only be seeing one tab's content, which is quite the norm. This is a self-explanatory. Okay. For props, it is saying that we have to use tabs and default active tab ID. Now again, this is something which ChatGPT has given to me, but ideally I should like basically in an interview I won't be getting these details from the interviewer, so I should myself come up with these props. Okay, that we have to pass tabs and we have to get the default active tab and all of that. Okay, features is switching tab updates the active tab state. Keyboard accessibility, so this is something I'm concerned about. I'm not very good at accessibility. Animation is optional, so I won't be taking this up. Usually in interviews they don't expect you to give animation and all that. Other than that, active tab should be visually distinct. Okay, wrap or scroll. Okay, let's see. We will focus more on the functionality. Okay, if we are good and if we have implemented the functionality, I won't dive into CSS or the optional parts. Okay, so let's get started. So basically we have to create a tab component. So I've created this folder tab, so there we will create a tabs.jsx. Okay, now in here let me create the component. Export default tabs, and in here now see, we were told by ChatGPT to use the props, but even if it didn't tell us, we had to use the props, right? For tabs data and default active tab, so I am setting it as 0. Okay, here uh, basically see in the if we look at it, if we look at the entire component, we have two main sections. Okay, one section is to handle the tab header. Okay, and another section is to handle the tab content, right? So in tab header we will display all the tabs, and in tab content we will only display the active tab content. Okay, so here I'll map through the tabs data. Okay, it is an array of objects, and here we will return the labels. So I mean these can be button or anything. So okay, so here we will get tab and index. So from tab, now here as per ChatGPT we will have ID, label and content. So we will pick the label, which would be the tab heading. Okay, we can also think of it as tab heading. So yeah, something like this. Let me prepare here the tabs. I don't know, auto import doesn't working, no problem. What we will do is go to components, get the tab, import tabs from component tabs. Okay, now I have to pass the tabs data. Okay, so let's prepare a tabs data, which is an array. It has ID, label, and content. So for label, I'll say home. For content, I'll say something like home content, and I'll add another tab, profile. Content will be profile content. Okay, looks good. Now here we can pass tabs data. Yeah, see. So we are mapping through the tabs data, and we are able to see the tab name in the tab label in the buttons. Okay, but right now this is not working, obviously. So now what we can do is, okay, I'll also create a basic styling file for just basic styling we would do. So let me give it a class as tab component. Okay, now let me import this file. So basic CSS would be expected from me in the interview as per the directions received from the HR. That is why I am practicing. And in most interviews, I think basic CSS would be required. So you should know how to write basic CSS. So in tab component, I'll just give a width of 80% and margin auto. I just want to have the content in the center. That's it. After that, for tab header, basically this entire thing, let me give display as flex. Okay, and we can give some border. It's not required. I can give some border here, px solid gray, and tab header. For tab headers, okay, let's see. I think I'm good with what we have right now. I can give some padding. Okay, I think yeah, I think we can give the padding. I think okay, it looks good. If we have to change, we'll change it. Okay, now comes the content. So we have to show only one content at a time. For that, we will have to manage the active tab. So I'll use this. I don't know why the auto import and stuff is not working. So I'll say something like this, and then we will say something like set active tab, use state. Here I'll say sorry, default active tab. Okay, and in here we will import use state from React. Okay, now here what we have to do is we have the tabs data. Okay, the active tab will have the index, right? And from the index dot content, we can get the content. So what I'll do is, first is when we click on this, we have to update the active tab. So on click, what we would do is handle tab change, or what we can do is we can write set active tab, and we can set it to the index, right? Also, since I'm mapping, I should use the key over here. It's very important. Okay, now since we have set the active tab, since we have set the active tab, what we can do now is here we have to show the active tab component now. So we can write something like active tab component is equal to tabs data active tab. So this is the index, and then we have to do dot content. Okay, and here I will now pass the active tab component. Now here see, our active tab component is already a JSX. That is why I am using the curly braces to add it over here. Acha, let me write some CSS for this. Display flex height. Let me give it some height of 300 pixels, and again padding inline we can give as 1 rem, so it looks centered. Other than that, for tab header button, we can say uh, padding as 0.5 rem, okay, and width as 8 rem, or let's say 7 rem, and yeah, I think this is fine. Also, since it is display flex, we can say something like justify content space between. I mean, this won't look good, I think. Yeah, this won't look good. Space evenly. Yeah, let it be. I mean, this is fine. So if we select now, see, the basic functionality is in place. If we select, we are able to switch between the contents. Now, what else? Let me see. Default is this, only one tabs content. Switching between tabs updates the active tab state. Keyboard accessibility. Left right arrow keys should navigate between smooth transition. Let it be. Active tab should be visually highlighted. Yeah. So now since we have selected home, we have to ensure that our UI reflects that the home is selected. So for that, what we can do is we can have a class name. Here in this we would pass something like so if this idx is equal to the active tabs index, we will add an active class name, otherwise we will not add anything. Now in here I will write something like dot tab header button dot active. So if this tab is selected, let's do one thing. We can make the font weight bold. Font weight, I don't know. Is it not working? Font weight, or let's say color white. Button active. What is the issue? We have given class name as this. Let me write it over here. Button class. Name is, okay, I think this entire thing should be in braces. Yeah, now it should work. Now it should work. And here this will be like this. Yeah, so color white we can just remove. Basically I just added it to check. So yeah, so if something is selected, it becomes bold. Other than that, we can add other stuff as well, background color, light green, something like this. So yeah, this one is selected, this one is selected. Other than this, what should we do? Tabs should be responsive. Okay, this is but simply CSS. So support lazy loading, render a tabs content only when it becomes active. Now this is a nice feature to add, lazy loading. Okay, so here what we can do is, so first of all, here in our app.js we have simply passed the content like this, but in general we can expect that there would be something like this, like we will have a bigger component. So let's just take it out from here and add it over here. Const home tab Okay, export default home tab. So this is the home content. Now in here, what I can do is in the content, I can import that. So it is present in components home tab. Okay. Similarly, let me copy array. Okay, let me create the profile tab. Okay, so here we will have profile tab, div, profile content, export default profile tab. Okay, now if we come here inside this, we can just simply copy paste this part, and here we will load the profile tab. Okay, this is good. Okay, now one issue is that in the tabs.jsx we used it like this, but now this is returning a function to us. What is the issue? Is it reloading? Acha, there is some error. Unknown component is an async. Only server components can be async at the moment. This error is often caused by accidentally adding use client. So here we changed to this. Okay, and in tabs.jsx, now this will return me the wait. Expected a string. What is the issue over here? We have this and we have content. Active tab component. Okay, there is some issue. Basically we changed this content. Okay, and after that basically we are importing. Acha, okay, I think this import only server components can be async at the moment, and this is I think async. That is why we are getting this issue. Okay, never mind. So what we can do is basically, yeah, I was trying to handle the lazy loading, so I think it won't work until unless we implement that. So let's handle the lazy loading over here. Okay, so okay, let's do one thing. Active tab component we have over here. Okay, so we will import lazy, and in here let me just copy this, paste this. Okay, now I have to import lazy. I'll also import suspense. Let me just close this. How do I close the console? Yeah, suspense. Okay, now lazy is defined and this is defined, and in here now this has become a, okay, let me make it full screen. Yeah, so now this has become a component. Let me remove this. What happened? Something happened over here. Lazy is not defined. I've defined it now. I've defined it now. Is there some issue? It's not refreshing actually. Okay, so I had to refresh the browser for it to work again. Yeah, so I haven't changed anything. We have simply used lazy over here for the active tab component, and now in here I have used suspense. So now here I can use the active tab component. Okay, now the thing is, I can add a fallback. Okay, I can add a fallback. But this fallback will not be visible right now because, okay, it is visible, loading, and then it loads home content. Okay, yeah, so it is good, I think. I mean, we have implemented the basic functionality, we have implemented lazy loading as well. And yes, I think we have handled a lot of things, but one important thing is, see, for accessibility, we can mention this as role tabs. Okay. Other than this, let me go through the question statement. Ability to add or remove tabs. So if we have to add or remove tabs, see, if you look at it, if we go here, I just simply have to add a new component. Okay, I can add a new component. Let's call it settings tab. Okay, and here I can write settings tab, return div, return div settings. Okay, and in here we can say export default settings tab. Now in here in app.js, I simply have to use that component, nothing else. I don't have to do anything. I just have to add that component over here, so it's reusable and extensible. Okay, yeah, so now uh, here we have profile and here we have settings. So I mean, we could simply add another tab just by adding it to the home.jsx, sorry, app.jsx. Yeah, now after that, support disabled tabs that cannot be activated. Okay, ability to add or remove tabs dynamically. So add or remove is done. Support disabled tabs. Okay, so now for this as well, we can take input from user to check whether a tab is enabled or disabled. So let's say I say disabled true for first two, and for this one I say disabled false, or basically let's make disabled false, and home component is disabled. Okay, so now in our tabs.jsx, I'll have to handle that. So what we have to do is, if the tab is disabled, then we will not show it in this map. Okay, so what we can do is, I can add a check over here that tab dot disabled, not tab dot disabled, and end, and then we can show. So you see, but now here we have an issue. Okay, so basically what we did is we did set the default active tab to be 0, but if it is, if it is disabled, it shouldn't be the case, so we can make it as 1. Okay, is there any issue? This is fine, this looks fine. Let's wait for it to load. Yeah, so now this is completely fine. Okay, there can be other additions, enhancements to this, which are, we can have next or previous button and all of that. and many more things. I mean, in an interview, it keeps on adding, multiple enhancements and multiple small stuff. But anyways, I mean, this is good for basic implementation where the functionality is working. Okay, this can also be extended to a multi-form component where uh, each of these things are not tabs but forms. So inside each of these you have some forms and you fill it up and then you press next, and at the last tab you can manage the handling of the form. So all of it can be easily done over here. If you see that we have the ID, basically we have the selected tab. So based on that, you can check if it is the first tab, you give next. If it's the last tab, you don't give next and you give the settings. Sorry, you get the submit button and all of that. So I mean, this boilerplate is good enough for the functionality, and yeah, I think it should be good for this video. So okay, in next video we will tackle another machine coding question. I am working on multiple React machine coding questions. So whatever I get and I feel is an important question, I would try to put up a video on this. So this question, the tabs component, has been asked in Atlassian, Zepto, Myntra, and multiple companies. Okay, so that is why it is an important question. You could say that this is one of the most important questions for the React machine coding round. Definitely in the top 10, I would say. Okay, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching.